What is going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, you beautiful people. Today, we're going to be talking about what's going on with the HEX selling. The shark who has been selling and dumping HEX. We're going to be looking into Richard Hart's new website. We're just going to be having fun, chit-chatting, guys. It's Saturday, March 4th. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. As always, I was getting my coffee. He said, sorry, Alan first. Yeah, Facing Reality. Got him beat. LMAO. Damn it, Facing Reality. I blame the show. Good afternoon. I did have to grab my coffee. You were absolutely correct on that one as well. Sup, Hex Force. Absolutely. What's up? What's up? He's late. Rug. Getting his coffee. Damn right. No, I had to, I was craving McDonald's, man. You know what I mean? You know those days where you're just like craving a particular type of food? McDonald's is by far my vice. And I was craving it. I was like, I gotta have it. I need it. I want it. And so I got it. But yeah, and then of course I had to make my Starbucks and everything like that. Oh yeah, it's a Starbucks mocha. Bam, 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 bam. What up, what up, what up, you beautiful people? Hope everyone is having a fantastic day as always. Yeah, McDonald's is fucking delicious. It's the jam. It's the bee's knees. Alright, let's take a look over here at what's going on with the HEX price, guys. It looks like we got a big seller who just recently came back onto the market again. He's been known to do this in the past. So we're going to be diving into what that particular seller has been doing. Of course, just looking at the actual chart of what's going on right now at this point in time. The current HEX price is sitting at 6.432 cents. We are breaking below the trend line that we've been drawing out ever since. And it really just takes a shark or a whale to make something happen with this low liquidity. So it doesn't surprise me too much whenever we end up getting stuff like this happen, only because of the obvious factor of low liquidity. It means there's going to be a little bit more volatility for the up and for the down. And right now we're going through the down, and so that's exactly what's going on. And again, we're going to be diving into some of the transactions this particular wallet has been doing. If y'all don't know or have not seen yet already, it's this wallet right here. D3D1F is the wallet transaction right there. This particular wallet has been known as a shark in the system, but they have not really contributed other than purchasing HEX in the very beginning, staking it, doing a 5-year stake ladder once per year basically. They've ended 3 of their stakes so far, and they've done nothing but dump HEX ever since. So each time that they end up getting their HEX and they end their stake, it looks like they are a perpetual and habitual HEX dumper. So we're going to call out this particular wallet right here. We're going to see what's going on with it, what's happening. Is it this one or this one? Give me 1 second. It's this one. Okay, 6689A. I had a couple of them pulled up because I wanted to see what was going on with some of these transactions who have been selling recently. But it's actually this wallet. My sincere apology for saying that wrong. But 6689A is going to be the wallet that we're looking at. Again, they're currently sitting on $6 million worth of HEX. They have 90 million HEX in their bag right now, and they have been doing nothing but dump ever since they've been in this ecosystem. So if you go back all way back here, you can see they just sent $2 million to this particular wallet right now. We can dive in a little bit further here. So let's just open that in a new tab. We'll look into that one here in just a second. They've been sending another 1.2 million, 1.5 million here to this particular wallet. We're going to take a little peek over here as well and see if we can find out some more information on these transactions. So let me get back to where we have it. Open it up. Open that one up, and again, we're just going to be finding out maybe what's going on, maybe if we can figure out anything with this particular wallet and why they are doing it. But they have been known to be a perpetual HEX dumper when they end up purchasing their HEX. I cannot believe they have made so much money in this ecosystem. Congrats to them, but they still do not understand the fundamentals of HEX and why you want to keep on staking some. They literally in their stake and just cash out and just say, I'm good. I mean, I don't know what you're needing to do with $2 million, $2.5 million. I don't know whose lifestyle is that crazy, especially considering they only started out with $38,000 3 years ago, before all this started happening. You can go back in and see some of the first days of when they first started getting into HEX. It was roughly around $38,000 worth of Ethereum at the time of the Ethereum price. And they have purchased their HEX, they have staked their HEX, and they have done mini stakes where they've done 500,000 HEX stakes, okay? And you can actually see that particular transaction right here on this wallet right now. So if we come over here to look at their ended stakes so far, you can see they've done 50 million stakes, 50 million staked, 127 million, 17 million, and 50 million staked. So they have been known to do 50 million HEX stakes all at once, and they get the idea that they can turn basic amount of money, a little bit of money, into a lot of money. Yet they still do not understand the principle of restaking. They have yet to understand that concept. So the further and further it gets, the more and more the harder and harder it gets for this particular shark, to end up getting into the ecosystem back where they first got it. So it's very odd that they actually have been, one of the earlier days of HEX, and haven't really done anything else besides just sell their HEX stakes each time they come out. It's very interesting because they once had 329 million HEX all in all, and you can see these were all the start stakes right here. So February of 2020 was when they really first started staking. They did a 4-year, 5-year staking ladder situation, and you can see they currently only have 2 stakes remaining. So you can see right now they have one for 50 million and one for 44 million. Absolutely mind-blowing, the fact that you can have someone who essentially turns something of little value into something with a lot of value, and then they just cash out. I'm happy for them. I'm glad they were able to cash out, but it just blows my mind whenever I see this stuff happen where they do not understand the entire purpose of how HEX works, right? They get it, they're staking, they're earning, they're getting it, but at the same time, they aren't restaking. They're just cashing out. They aren't even in. I can't even imagine doing this before a snapshot happens for a PulseChain. Like, why would you not at least wait until the snapshot happens? Now, if they want to sell and they want to get out, then let them go. You know what was very interesting? And as I was diving into this particular wallet right here, I found a lot of stuff happen where I ended up seeing that they really did not sack very much in terms of PulseChain and PulseX. You can actually see right here, in terms of their PulseChain sacrifice, it was only about $271,000. And again, their PulseX sacrifice was only about $2,000. So to have someone who's making millions on this particular product not sacrifice more than just a few thousand, a couple 100,000, just blows my mind away. And it seems like they aren't familiar with how the snapshot happens. I don't want to call them lucky, but they just seem to be one of those people who got in at the right time, have made some money, and now they're cashing out. And they don't get the entire purpose of how this works. So again, I'm just shocked the fact that this wallet right here is not going to be taking full advantage of PulseChain and PulseX. But hey, if they're going to be a perpetual dumper and a habitual dumper of the price, then they can go fly away whenever they end up getting rid of themselves. And I'm glad they don't have that big of a position when it comes to PulseX and PulseChain, because that just means when the time comes for them to dump, they are most likely going to dump. In fact, we can take a look over here at this website called app.rugzy.io, spelled R-U-G-Z-Y. And again, you can actually see they have really done nothing but sell. You can literally go through in all of the transactions. This is the same wallet, 689A. You can type in the wallet address up here if you're ever curious, and this will allow you to see a lot of the transactions that they've ever been in. I can go back and look at this for the max amount of time as well, and you can see that they've really done nothing but sell, 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 sell. A long time ago, once upon a time, they actually ended up buying some, but that was once upon a time, guys. This is all February of 2023, and again, look how many times they've been dumping. 1 million sold, 1 million HEX sold, 1 million HEX sold, 1 million HEX sold. They've been cashing out and bleeding themselves out slowly. They aren't replenishing their asset. They are just literally cashing out. And it just boggles my mind when I see this happen, because again, they got this amount of money, $7 million, where they cash out into USDC, and it just blows me away the fact that they just keep pulling out, pulling out, pulling out, pulling out, pulling out. They aren't replenishing. And that is mind blowing. The fact that you can see someone who has success in this ecosystem, to see someone who at one point in time had to put some trust into this because they are staked. They did stake. That was something they did. These 50 million, 50 million, 50 million, 50 million stakes. That all happened, and you could see the cost at the time, 13,000, 13,000, 13,000, 13. That's not that much money, and they've turned it into millions of dollars. And yet they still don't understand the purpose of why you would not want to continue to at least take out some profit, take the yield that you've earned, and restake the principal or something along that line. You can flip-flop it for all I care. Pull out all the principal that you originally had and restake the yield, because essentially that was given to you for free because you staked. They don't get it, and this blows me away whenever I see someone who just is a habitual seller of our ecosystem, and they don't get it, because at one point in time, folks, they did stake. In fact, we can look at it right here for this wallet. Give me 1 second. Let me actually copy that address once again here. Boom, 689A, and we can go here, 689A. All right, so we can go in here, and you can see that at one point in time, they did have some T-shares, and now they only have about 18,000 T-shares, where at one point in time, they were sitting on 28,000 T-shares. They are not replenishing their T-shares, so essentially this person's out. If they don't figure out what the F to do by 2025, when this stake ends February of 2025, they're out of the ecosystem. Yeah, they're going to have millions of dollars, but the amount that they're going to have to end up paying is well more than 30,000 HEX per T-share by the time 2025 rolls around. And it's just mind-blowing that you can just waste all these money printers. You literally have such a phenomenal money printer right in front of you, and yet they are just blowing it away. So it just baffles me, man. It really does. Whenever I see some seller like this come through, that they made a phenomenal return, and yet they don't believe in the ecosystem. They don't believe in the product. I don't know. I can't. Maybe my small brain, my smooth A brain, can't wrap my head around just cashing out millions of dollars and thinking that's okay. If you can turn something into, $500,000, $250,000, you know what I mean? And then you end up getting into something like, you start with something like less than $100,000, and then you turn that into millions upon millions of dollars. We'll say $10 to $15 million at some point in time, 37 million. Like, what are you doing? What in the fuck are you spending your money on, my guy? What do you need to do in your life that causes you to cash out $37 million worth of this investment? What are you doing? Like, I wish you the best, man. I really do. Some people are thinking, I'm going to move this into stocks and bonds, and I'm going to earn my 4% over there on treasury bonds. And it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm glad they're out. I'm glad they're selling before the launch of PulseChain. Why? Because they were just going to sell whenever PulseX or PulseChain HEX ends up being a thing, because they don't have any intrinsic value. Based on literally everything that we just looked at right here, they do not provide any sort of liquidity. They are doing market dumps, which is like the worst possible way you can exit the system, by the way. Guys, we talk about this all the time. You do limit orders to buy, you do limit orders to sell. This is just facts. It's how you should end up playing the system. Because why would you, what do you do? What are you thinking? You do limit orders to sell. Why? So you don't fucking wreck yourself. If you want to sell, then sell on the way when the price is dumping against yourself. I don't know. You do limit orders. It just makes it so much better. You provide for the ecosystem. But this is a person who doesn't quite understand any of that and has just been a habitual seller. And so I'm glad to see that they're gone. Whenever the price of HEX ends up reaching $1, God forbid, maybe even by the end of this year, imagine you could have had something like 6 million turned into something like $70 million. All for waiting one more fucking year. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it personally. I can't see how you can just cash out. You got to pay taxes when you actually convert this sucker into fiat. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And you know this person's converting into fiat because if you actually pull it up on chain as well, they're sending some of this out to Kraken. And again, I was looking at this earlier, but they're sending some of this out to Kraken. So you know they're actually cashing out of the actual ecosystem. They aren't just playing in the system where they're going to hold it for a little while. They are literally cashing out and turning it into fiat. They aren't just cashing out. They're literally turning it into fiat. And that is a huge taxable moment. So let's see where they're sending this money to, because this is one of the wallets. You can see they just sent $2.5 million right here to this wallet that you can see me circling around. This particular wallet is this one that I pulled up, and you can see they cashed out. They are sending it to Kraken right here. So that's how I know they're literally cashing out. That is a taxable event, folks. That is when true tax will show up. When you convert this into crypto, into fiat, and dude, that's when you get taxed. So imagine you get taxed on this, and you got 2.5 mil. Congrats. But what if you get taxed, and let's just say that they have a long-term tax gain, and I'm going to even be nice and say it was 15%. You still lost $375,000 by doing this. So you only get $2 million after everything's all said and done. This isn't how I would ever suggest myself, any family members that I know to do the game of crypto. This is not the game of crypto that I would recommend anyone participate in. Again, it baffles me, man. It really freaking baffles me whenever I see someone do this kind of stuff. So they are converting into Kraken. There's another wallet where they ended up selling some, and again, it looks like they're trading with this particular wallet. You can see they're very active when it comes to this wallet. Maybe this is this a particular wallet, or is this a deployer? Nope, this is a wallet. So yeah, you can see they literally are doing a whole bunch of trades all the time. So this person probably just has a lot. I don't know. I've tried wrapping my head around, like, why would you dump millions just on the market? And again, it's so funny because it gets eaten up again. This is just a redistribution of wealth. So far there have been 197 sellers today, and out of that 197 sellers there's been 343 buyers. So yeah, they were able to cash out and sell their millions of dollars worth, but it's just redistributing to other people who have more commitment to the ecosystem, more diamond hands, more balls to actually see it through. I get you turned a little bit of money into a lot of money, but this is just foolish of you. This is very foolish of somebody to just turn this little bit of money to a lot of money and then cash out. I've asked this before. And again, let's see what y'all's thoughts are in chat, because it blows me away whenever I see it. For real though. Like maybe my smooth brain just can't handle it, right? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Hey all to the ATX again family. What's up, Clifton? How are you doing, my friend? Love seeing you, Clifton. Love seeing all the love and support from Clifton as well, and all you beautiful people. We got more subscribers than ever. We got more viewers than ever. We got more likes than ever. We got, oh man, it's amazing. It's amazing, and I'm very thankful to every single one of you folks. Like seriously thankful. Clifton, what's up? Alan Fizame, yeah. Yo, what's up? The PulseTube. Yeah, shout out to the PulseTube, by the way, as well. They came out with a new website. Looks fire. We'll check that out a little bit later. Might as well just pull that up over here. The PulseTube. Might as well get ready on that as well. And yeah, we're just gonna have some fun checking out some different stuff today, right? We're gonna be seeing a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, PulseTube, nice. What's up, Alan? Yes, sir. Alan Fizame, my brother, good to see you. Exactly, likewise. Clifton, who cares who dumps? Who cares who dumps? Buy that dip, man. Well, so part of my channel that I love is I try to find logic whenever I see these transactions. I try to see things from a different perspective to maybe give myself a better understanding of what's going on, a better understanding of how it's all working. And the only thing that I can possibly think of at this point in time, and I hope it's the case, and I wish it is that they are setting up a trust. because you can set up a trust in such a way that you do not get taxed, like a charitable remainder trust, for example, where you don't get taxed a certain way. You can pay yourself and set yourself up completely to pay yourself either quarterly, yearly, monthly, whatever sort of output that you want, whatever sort of amount that you want each time. These are the ideas, and I hope that's what they are doing with this cash, is they are moving it into some sort of trust scenario, so that way they can take full advantage and maybe maximize things in a different way. I could see that being the case, and in that regard, I would give props. I wouldn't go through and do it the way they're doing, like market dumping. Again, I want to take things from every single transaction that I can, right? I want to learn from where they're at. This is how I can make my own investment thesis / how I can share my views on some stuff as well. Whenever you're doing market dumps, you're literally pushing the price against yourself. Whereas if you set limit orders, as long as the price was continue to go up, you can set limit orders at 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8. That's what these limit orders are right here. When you see these limit orders filled in, that's what this is. This is a limit order scenario. When you see this kind of stuff, that's a limit order in place saying I'm going to sell when the price hits this number. That's a good way to exit the system. You get to cash out, you get to provide liquidity for the entire ecosystem. It's phenomenal. And then you get the buy wall. That's the exact opposite. You do limit orders down lower to make sure that when the price hits lower, you can scoop up some additional HEX. You again provide liquidity for the ecosystem, and it's just a different mindset. That to do a market dump, you have to be someone who's just not. It's not the best decision that you can make to cash out. Let's just leave it like that. I don't want to say my version of what I think in this scenario, but you're pushing the price again. There's so many things that are wrong with it. I'm sure you end up paying a gas fee, and we can probably look at how much they pay, but when you cash out millions of dollars, folks, it's not a joke. It's like when you end a stake and you have all these stakes that are ending, you can go back and see. I mean, look how many transactions they're doing. Look at all this, folks. These are so many transactions. 8 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 8 hours. These are so many transactions that are happening that again, I just want to try to understand a little bit more, but then sometimes the more I dive in, the more confused I get, because look how many transactions they're pulling here, folks. I mean, so many transactions on this one address alone that it just blows me away. I just don't understand how they can do so many transactions. What are they doing with this money? They're sending it to different wallets. Those different wallets are then cashing out. Some of them, like, they're just so many different things that are happening. Let's just look at this one, for example. Once again, probably just cashed out. Just another little trading wallet, if you will. Yeah, wrapped Ethereum. Yeah. So again, they're, doing something in this one. What's going on with this wallet here? What was the one I just clicked on? BB1C, I believe. BBC1. Yeah. So that's another wallet that they have. I mean, again, I try to learn, because this is the opportunity of a lifetime, folks. When you're in crypto, you can make the best decisions or the worst decisions of what could impact you financially going forward in the future. Whenever I see someone cash out on $1 million, $2 million, $6 million, $10 million, and the ecosystem is barely at its infancy stage and it's pre-viral and we haven't launched PulseChain yet, I think these are the mistakes that I personally want to avoid. So I want to learn and probably even understand maybe from their perspective as to why you would do something like this, especially before a pre-launch of PulseChain. Like, PulseChain's just around the corner. You've already waited this long. I mean, hell, but then you think about it, and they didn't sack much, folks. 271,000 in the grand scheme of things, and the sacrifices wasn't that much, especially for someone who did have millions back then in July of 2021, because their first stake ended July of 2021 or February of 2021. Then their next one ended February of 22. The next one ended February of 2023. And those were 50 million HEX stakes going at a time. And the price of HEX back in February of 2021 was all the way up to, it actually ended up dropping down right there. So, okay, fair enough. So maybe they didn't do it at that time. But either way, because then we got the sacrifice going for PulseChain happening here. Let me see if I can zoom in just a smidge. What was the price at? So February of 2021, we were January, February. So we were right here. 0.0008, 50 million times 0.008. Okay, 400,000. Fair enough. So they did sack basically what they cashed out on. I'll give them some credit in that regard for the PulseChain sacrifice, because they did sacrifice a decent amount of their bag and their position based on that one stake ending. So I'll give them some credit there. Don't get me wrong. I'll give props where it's due. But to only sacrifice 2,000 for PulseX, I think it's just comical. You know what I mean? I had to laugh at stuff like that because, I mean, we had such a huge opportunity, folks, to be in on these opportunities, and I hope y'all were around during that time and y'all could sacrifice as well. And if you didn't, then don't be this guy. That's all I can say. Like, literally, they're just continuing to dump, you know, 3-4, 3-4, and they're probably going to keep dumping the more we talk shit about them. But good, get them out of our ecosystem, you know what I mean? Where it's the redistribution of wealth. I just want to understand. I try to understand, like, a different perspective, maybe from something that I don't personally see myself, and that's why I try to understand this stuff, and that's why I go through and talk about it, right? Buy the dip, sell the tip. Hey, yes sir, Alan Fizame is absolutely right on that one. What's up, Big GZ? Maybe a retirement move? Yeah, exactly, but again, like, if you're thinking retirement and you're not going and restaking anything, that's my issue with this right here. They aren't restaking anything. They're literally just cashing out every single time a stake ends, and then cashing out and continuing to cash out and continuing to cash out. So whenever I like to not restake nothing, and that's what got them from freaking $13,000 in the beginning to millions of dollars in just 3 years, to not restake any of it, like, what? Like, what? I don't get it. See, that's where my mind just goes whoop, and it like blanks out, because I can't understand from that perspective how you can go from turning less than 100,000 to even turning that into $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $30 million and not restake anything? Come on now. Come on now. Maybe they got multiple wallets at this point in time. I'm sure I can dive in deeper and try to get a better understanding of what's going on with each of the wallets and where they went and what happened with where. But I mean, come on, man. Like, you're not going to restake nothing? Nothing? That's where I can't agree with this particular move. That's where I see stuff like this and it just doesn't make logical sense at all to me. I see no logic. I see a little bit where I can kind of assume some things, like maybe they are actually either taking it out, putting it in the stock market and going that route. Maybe they're taking it out and putting it into a trust fund, a CRT, a charitable remainder trust. Maybe they are just cashing out and thinking they can live off 4% a year. Or maybe, but again, like, even in that, there's so many different scenarios that I'm like, even if you took some, you can still restake some. Like, I'm not asking for you to restake a lot, but if you turn something like 50 million HEX into, what was it, 127 million HEX at the end, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. I can pull it up. So you turned something that was 50 million HEX in the beginning. You turned it into either 80 million or 101 million. So again, a decent amount from what it was. 50 million to 127 million HEX. So you've doubled your position in the HEX position. You've re-earned essentially during that entire time all of the yield and your principal to make up at least half. Why would you not at least restake the fucking half? Why would you not just restake 1 million HEX? I'm not even asking for a lot, dude. I'm just saying if you're trying to play the game and play the system, like, unless you're planning on dying in the next couple years and you're just trying to live the most lavish lifestyle you can possibly have, which hopefully that's not the case, then I fail to understand. I fail to understand, okay? Good problems to have. Jeez! Man, I can't wait to have that bag, and I believe I won't dump, but I will take profits slowly but surely. Yeah, exactly, guys, and I talk about this all the time. Taking profits is what you're supposed to do. Take profits. It's a good thing to take profits. Taking profits is not a bad thing. This person turned $13,000, $15,000 into $6.8 million. Take profits. You know what I mean? Like, I got nothing wrong with that. Take profits. And I get this is going to be the most money some people have ever made in their lifestyle, which is where you have to have that mentality, guys. This is sudden wealth syndrome showing itself right here. This is what it looks like. This is sudden wealth syndrome right here. $15,000 to $6.8 million. A phenomenal problem to have. You'd be so lucky and fortunate to ever be in this situation, to even be in this situation. But to just go and waste the future of what's potentially possible as well, I don't see it. I don't get it. This is sudden wealth syndrome, in my opinion, exactly in front of us right now, turning 15,000 into millions and then cashing out those millions and thinking you can live off that. Guys, $1 million is not enough to live off. I get they've had multiple millions of dollars, but I can guarantee they're probably spending a whole bunch on fucking lifestyles of Lambos, mansions. I'm making assumptions here. I don't want to say all this, right? I'm making a whole bunch of assumptions when I say that, but I don't think they're going to be making the best plays with this money that they were able to turn 15,000 into millions and then make the right play next. I think that's where they're going to fail. And again, I feel sorry for this person that they're, you know, yes, congrats, you turned a little bit of money into a lot of money. But you don't see the big picture, and that's the thing that like blows me away, right? So yeah, exactly. Can't wait to have pumps, ATX. We can't understand everyone's motivation, brother, but it does pay all the other hexagons, right? Yeah, so like this particular scenario doesn't necessarily like pay anybody else in regard to like they didn't end their stake early. They complete their stakes to fruition. All of their stakes that they've done so far, they have completed up to 100%. We can see right here based on this, they have 2 stakes remaining. They've completed the entire stake the entire time. So congrats in terms of like that. They understand the mechanics. They get it. They're waiting until the stake ends. They end their stake and then they cash out. But they aren't earning the next level of understanding, and that's you got to restake some to keep it earning, man. Like this is a constant money printer that you have available to you. And you can still turn, you know, even 6 million, God forbid you do that same freaking math and do another 100x from here to $600 million, right? You could turn that into something that is truly generational wealth at that point in time. That's where like maybe I just see it from a I want to make generational wealth perspective, and they see it as like I want to live the most lavish lifestyle I can. So that's where our mindset may differ, you know what I mean? And I've asked my buddies before as well, you know, like, hey man, how much would you need in order to retire? That's kind of like, that was my whole pitch whenever I first started like talking about HEX with people. And they would be curious as to what I was into and everything like that. I would just talk to them like, how much would you need to retire? And, you know, what would happen if you end up attaining it, right? And so I was like, some people would say I need $1 million. Some people say I need 3 million. Some people said $500,000 to retire, right? And so I was like, what would happen if you got a chance to actually have that money in front of you, right? Would you cash that position out? Would you kill the horse that's feeding you right here? Would you, you know what I mean? Would you actually kill this animal that's giving you all the new money every single time, just so you can cash out that position? Or would you continue to slowly feed that animal so that way it gets more and more and just continues to produce for you? It was just this idea that like, I would hopefully switch people's mindsets that like when you reach that level of money, you hopefully have some plan available and ready for you, right? Like cashing out, I don't think is the right way, personally. I just don't. Especially knowing where like HEX is going to be, not only in a year, but like fucking 10 years from now. It's wild. Like PulseChain's around the corner. But yeah, stakers get penalties. Yeah, so back to the whole point of where we were talking about. They didn't end any of their stakes early. So it's not like they get an EES or emergency end stake where we end up benefiting in that regard. We don't get any sort of benefit from them in terms of like, actually we really get nothing. You get to buy some of the HEX that they have, basically, if you want to get a little bit technical, right? You get to buy some of the HEX that they have and they get out of the ecosystem, and it goes back in redistribution of wealth in terms of that, brings more hexagons into the ecosystem. Now they turn something where it's 127 million for this person, spread between 127,000 people, so they each get 1,000 HEX or whatever the case may be, right? It's just how that all works. But yeah, it's crazy. Timing is everything in markets, brother. That's how the mop flops. Yeah, so timing isn't everything, Clifton. I would beg to differ in this regard. Time in the market is everything. Like, you're never gonna time the market, and trying to time the market is foolish. And that's how you get wrecked, and that's how you make silly plays and you make emotional calls and decisions and rash decisions. Time in the market is going to be what actually pays. If you have the examples of the Ethereum Genesis whales, they've been holding these Ethereum Genesis coins since the launch of Ethereum, which was 7+ years ago. And they turned something that was, 3 cents at the time all the way up to something that turns into, hundreds of thousands of a percentage. So, and again, they turned what was only maybe 100,000 initial investment to $1 billion worth of investment, right? That's where time in the market's going to way beat timing the market, way beat it. You can get in HEX right now, and as long as you stay in the market for HEX, you're going to outperform every single person who is short-term mind-sighted or short-term sighted like this particular individual. And that's why I try to share with folks, time in the market is what wins. And how can you succeed with time in the market? Well, you set yourself up a ladder strategy. That way you can benefit when the times are low, when the times are high. You don't feel tempted to cash out early. You get to reap the rewards. You get to restake. And once you have a proper ladder set up, you could essentially keep that ladder perpetually going for 15 years. So when the one stake ends, if you've already got a ladder set up, filled in between for the next 15 years, guess what you do? You kick that sucker out to 15 years, right? And that's how the entire ecosystem works. Time in the market's going to be way better than timing. Way better. Way better. Like, for real. ATX, can we see how much they would yield every 30 days if they staked all of their HEX? It would make more sense to print monthly than dump at once. Sell the yield off is enough. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's just do this real quick. Let's go to where do I want to go? Trying to see where I actually want to go with this right now. 127 million, is that right? Do I have this right? 0 0. Okay, $127 million is roughly about $8.1 million. 127 million HEX is roughly about $8.1 million. Every 32 days, let's just kind of show you here, just for fun. So I'm using stakehex.today, but again, if you come in down here, you can see that every $127 million, which is what they just recently sold on the market, even at 0.064 cents, is still roughly around $8.1 million worth of value. And if they staked it for just 30 days, they would end up accruing roughly about 52.64 for the T-shares, which is 5,264 for the T-shares. And let's just assume that, again, this one amount alone, I gotta put this in HEX so it makes more sense. Move it into HEX because the amount for the dollar value can fluctuate. So this one stake that they could roll into this $127 million, they could roll into a 30-day stake would essentially yield them 1 million HEX every single 30 days, and this could continue to essentially roll every 30 days. So let's just do the fun math. What is 1 million HEX at the current price right now? 1 million times 0.064. Yeah, roughly about $64,000 every single month they would yield. And then they could cash out, and that's at the 6.4 price. And then assuming that they just continue to roll this, once again, they would cash out the 127 million again, going for another 30 days after the end of this one. They would cash out what would probably be roughly about 1 million HEX. Maybe HEX at that point in time is worth 8 cents in 30 days, for example. So you turn something into 1 million HEX times 0.08 cents, and you're sitting on $80,000 that month, right? And that turns into so much more money, guys. So much more money, instead of trying to play this cycle of, I'm going to make it to where I get it my way, right? Or I'm just going to cash out. You could literally continue this cycle, and that's a 30-day stake only earning roughly about you know, 9.6 APY. That's nothing crazy in that regard, but that's still better than a lot of the market that you're going to get, especially if we take the example of them moving into the stock market or a treasury bond where they get 4% yield. Like, what? You get 9% on this one for 9.6 in terms of the APR. Like, yeah, it's a phenomenal strategy. That's on a simple 30-day rolling average, and they can continue to do this over and over and over again. So, and God forbid they go longer. Yeah, so crazy. When PLX dump, all you want, the AMM whale bot buys it up. I'm going to try to read this, Clifton, but it's a little bit confusing for me. With PLSX dump, all you want, the AMM bot buys it up, buys it all up, as well as me on limits. Sure, it dips the price, but it gives the long money a chance to buy lower and hold the stake. Not sure I understand that. Maybe you just got to re-clarify. John Trotter, what's up, my friend? You're the best hex streamer. Fine network. I appreciate that. Thank you. Honestly, brother, there could be bigger issues in this person's life, and they need the money now. We can't know people's motivation. No, it's not just now, though. They do this every single year. This is a habitual, perpetual hex dumper. This is someone who got into the ecosystem at a great time. They've pulled out profits. They've ended their stakes. And you could literally go back and see. I can show you again. This is their wallet. This was one of the stakes that ended February 2021. They had 50 million hex at that time. They earned additional 30 million hex during that entire time of 365 days. They got 80 million at the end, and what they do with it? They dumped it. They sold it. They turned 15,000 into 5.4 million, and they sold it. They cashed out. And I can go back and pull up these exact dates exactly if you want me to on their wallet. You know, you can see all these transactions. That's the beautiful thing about blockchain, is you can literally come in here and I can, if I wanted to, take the time to actually go back and figure all this out and show you that they've dumped continually every single time that their stake ends. This is another one showing they staked it February 17th of 2020. They sold it, or they ended their stake February 16th of 2022. So this was their second year that they've ended their stake. Again, a 50 million hex stake. They've earned 51 million hex during that whole time of 730 days. During that time, they accrued 101 million hex. Guess what they did? They ended it. They cashed out. So they turned 15,000 into 6.8 million. They cashed out. So, like, I get what you're saying, Clifton. There's going to be certain situations that people come up to in life that are very unfortunate. Most of those are actually caused with early end staking. So the fact that they are holding their stakes all the way to completion shows that it's probably not likely a life event. It's just them taking a massive profit on their position and a massive return, but not continuing to restake. So that's the reason why I bring it up, is, again, just to kind of showcase, hopefully going forward for anyone else in the future, of why it could be advantageous and more beneficial if you were to just restake some. I'm not like, you don't have to restake it all. I get it, dude. Take money, take your profit. You waited 2 years in order to collect out on $6.8 million and you did not end early. Kudos. You did what the whole entire purpose of HEX is for. You lock it up for a certain amount of time. You delay your gratification. At the end of that gratification delay, you get to cash out. Now, what you do with that cash out is kind of where people can wreck themselves, and that's what I'm trying to prevent happening, or at least advise people in this position who end up getting this kind of money and yield and payout to learn to take advantage and restake some. You know what I mean? There's so many more benefits as to like why this could be what it is. So let's just see real quick, because I actually want to see where they are actually at in terms of, is it on any of these charts? Total T shares, price per hex, all that good stuff. Yep. Current stakers. Yep. None of that. Staking strategies, maybe it's under here. Interesting. Wonder what I'm looking for. I even forgot already. Oh, where they were at in terms of like the whale status or shark status and where they were at in the ecosystem. Does it show? Because again, it used to actually have a whole little setup where it was like whales, turtles, sharks, and you can see where everyone was, and they switched up the website some for hexfire.io, and I haven't found all of the new sites and places to go take a look at this stuff. Stake stars, stake analysis, ROI, estimated rate change. No, 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 no. Yeah, so I wonder what he did with it. Wonder where it ended up going. Resources, I know it's not under here. Contact, no. Interesting. Yeah, it used to be a really cool staking website page that had a whole bunch of information that you could see where everyone was at in terms of the whale status, shark status, and all that. And it would show if this person is indeed a shark. I believe they are based on what everyone else is saying. But yeah, for whatever reason, it's not showing up there. So let's go back to chat real fast, see what's going on. You're my favorite Hex streamer. I appreciate that. Maybe the guy needs the money, bro. Great gains. There are no guarantees in life, so if you have an opportunity to live the life you want now, you should do it. For sure, dude. And dude, like, you're telling me, I was in the Marine Corps, man. I came back from fucking war. I survived that bullshit. I got shot at. I was in combat. It was a shit show. I did not love it. I did not hate it. The one thing I'm thankful for every day is the fact that I'm waking up and I'm here on this earth. And another day that I'm blessed being awake. Because, yeah, dude, that's what scares me about Richard Heart not launching PulseChain. There is no guarantee that you wake up the next day. So what happens if Richard Heart doesn't launch PulseChain before whatever unexpected event happens? Like, anything could fucking happen, dude. You know what I mean? So, like, I get that. But there's still a situation where that's just, it's a foolish play in my opinion. That's all I can say. Foolish play. Respectfully, you were saying things like only 2 million. Most people only have $200. Perspective is important. Well, and that's why people are going to get wrecked, because if you come from this poverty mindset that you only have and you only will ever have, and you've came from nothing and that's all that you have, and so when you finally come into something, you just fucking blow it all because you have poor money habits, that's where I'm trying to help share the thought with people as to, like, why you might want to take another look at this, right? Yes, $2 million, $6 million, $8 million. Plenty of money. But just like we've talked about on this stream before and on the channel, there's a situation where Hex could end up reaching a certain point in time at $1 by the end of the year. And so if you just take that same logic and you look at what the price could be at that point in time, take some profits, man. I'm not saying don't take profits. I just don't think there's a need to cash out on $6 million all at once, right? Unless you already got billions, like the God Whale, for example. If he was to cash out 6 million, that's a fucking dip in his whole wallet amount, right? It's like this, the mentality that you have to have from like, how much of your wallet are you cashing out? If you're cashing out 100% of your bag and you're not re-entering the system and you're not redeploying what gave you the golden goose, and it continues to lay eggs of golden eggs, and you just fucking chop the neck off for the golden goose, that's where I see some issues. And I hope y'all can see that too. Maybe y'all may end up in a situation where you do end up in the same moment. Maybe you turn something like $1,000 on a stake right now that gets you 1 T-share, and in 15 years is worth $2 million. Like, maybe you even have more than that. Maybe you do it sooner. Maybe you have a ladder set up. I don't know exactly the thing, but God forbid we end up reaching $1, $2, $10, and you just fucking chop the neck off on the golden goose that's laid the golden eggs for you. I have an issue with that. That's just my opinion, that I don't see the logic in that. Again, that's poor money habits. And I've already said this in the past, that, dude, people need to have it's a 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you go sell everything and cash out your entire position and you never have any idea of coming back into the ecosystem again, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's where I have the issue at. This dude has never came back and bought Hex and restaked. Get it? You know what I mean? Go get your money, boo. You do you. And everyone's going to have that. But I hopefully share this with everyone so you can see it from a different perspective as well. If you're going to exit, do it the right way. Yeah, agreed. But greed is the drug of fools, brother. Yeah, but again, like, it sounds like It sounds like we're almost defending his actions for what he's done, and I'm just simply saying there's much better ways to do it. What's the best site for limit orders? I use CalSwap to do my limit orders because here in the US, 1inch.io is banned. You can use a VPN and all that good stuff. If you're outside the US, I was a big fan of 1inch.io. They did phenomenal for me. I've set many limit orders in the past through them before they banned it in the US. And then once it got banned, I debated using VPN still and going that route. And then I discovered CalSwap, and it's swap.cal.fi, just FYI. So swap.cal.fi. I have the link down in the description below if I'm not mistaken. If you just go read the description, you'll see limit orders in one of the paragraphs. And it'll say like dex.guru, 1inch.io, matcha.xyz, and CalSwap. And those are by far the best. Matcha.xyz used to be one of the things I would use all the time, but you can only set a limit order for a week here in the US. Not even here in the US, just in general. And a week felt like I was trading because like I don't want to have to reset a limit order again in a week. Swap.cal.fi or CalSwap allows me to go out to 6 months. And 1inch.io, if you're not in the US, allows you to go out to like 3+ years. So hopefully that answers the question. Set limit orders on the buys, set limit orders on the sells. It's a good way to enter, it's a good way to exit, and it helps the whole entire ecosystem. If that guy's happy, I'm happy for him. Well, Grit Gains, congratulations. That guy must be very happy. So you are as well very happy. Tomorrow could be husband, last day on earth for all we know. Yeah. Again, we're all talking this like hypothetical. This is a one-off scenario. They cashed out. This isn't a one-off scenario, my friends. Like, they continue to cash out. And that's that, and they don't re-enter into the ecosystem. Like, I hope that y'all do take profits, and I hope every single one of y'all can benefit from turning thousands into hundreds of thousands into millions possibly. But then I also hope that you don't shoot yourself in the foot by just cashing out completely in that position. Like, if you, like, imagine PulseChain launches. Let's just play a scenario, okay? Imagine PulseChain launches. PulseChain goes and does 4,000x within the first 3.5 years, exactly like average states for layer ones, okay? So if you turn into $1,000 in 4 years, we're gonna say in 3.5 years, to a 3,800x I'm gonna use, that's turning $1,000 into $3.8 million, okay? Now, like, a lot of those folks aren't going to be able to hold that for 3 years. Let's just start with that. First of all, a lot of folks aren't even going to be able to understand the comprehensive mindset to be able to hold that. They're going to turn 1,000 into 10,000 and they're going to cash out. They're going to turn 1,000 into 500,000 and they're going to cash out. But this is what I'm talking about. Time in the market is going to way outperform timing the market. Because if you turn $1,000 and you just wait another extra couple years, and you can take some profits, and I'm not saying don't take profits, folks. Take your fucking profits. Like, profits is so important to take. Understand there's a way to do it, though. You don't want to fucking slay and cut off the neck of the golden goose. Like, that's literally what you do when you cash out all in your position. And you don't re-enter again. Like, if you don't have any expectation to ever come back in the market, and you just cash out because you've got your money, and you've got $2 million, well, cool. Congrats. You can probably live a very nice lifestyle for a very, very decent amount of time. We'll say 2 to 10 years. You know what I mean? I would say if you get $1 million, you can probably live off that for at least 10 years. So congrats on that. But again, there's a difference between having a certain lifestyle of luxury. Like, you can be like, I don't even want to pull it up, but you can definitely turn these scenarios into something so much better, folks. And I just want everyone to be ready for it. I don't want you to take something from this guy and say, well, I would do the same. Like, I hope you wouldn't do the same. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope you wouldn't do the same. And I hope you understand that this person is making a huge, potentially huge mistake. They don't have any intention of ever coming back in. They cashed out and they're done. And that's cool. You want to get rid of the weak hands. I get that. And it's better that they sell now at 7 cents than at $1, for example, right? It's just like, I just want everyone's mindset to be ready for what happens when the time comes. Pure speculation. Looks like a hedge fund or something organized because of the frequency of trades. I agree. And timestamps, algo bots, maybe, but crazy, definitely. Nice story. Appreciate that. All this stuff could go to zero. Okay. Yeah, I mean, sure. Sure. Smash the like and subscribe, Crypto Jake says. Appreciate that. 55 stake. Addy EES recently, I think Fat Fingered caused the 127 million stake ended that same day. Was there an address just recently that came through and EES? And by the way, in order to EES, guys, you gotta really F up, because like here's what happens when I'll just kind of show you real quick. When you end up looking at I have to move myself, or I could just scroll this up a little bit. So when you end up like looking at these stakes here, and this just kind of gives you the example. I can't actually end the stake. This is just a widget you can download. But anyways, when you look at actually ending the stake right now, you get this big old fucking warning that's like, confirm end stake. Are you sure you want an emergency end stake? Remember that you made a commitment to stay staked. This is an advanced feature for advanced users. You should not run this unless you fully understand what it will do. So this whole thing pops up in like big fucking colorful, like attention grabbing stuff to say, I'm going to end this stake. And then you have to choose to still click end. So you literally have to click it here. You have to click it here. You then have to confirm it in MetaMask. You then like, there's so many steps that have to go through for you to end up emergency end staking. And it typically isn't by accident. Let's just say that. It typically is done on purpose. Let's just be real on that one. They are selling the farm or the mine. Yeah, this whole conversation about, are we miners? Are we stakers? Are we farmers? Or are we mentors? Oh shit, it's funny what's happening. It's okay, we'll take a bump in stake rate. Yeah, so again, like it's not really gonna end up doing that per se. Because like this stake ended back on February 25th, and that was the last stake that they had ended. The next one that they have ending isn't until February 15th of 2024. So, and it looks like they complete their stakes all the way up to completion. So it's just a matter of like them waiting now at this point in time. So I don't necessarily see that being a thing. It's not going to affect the daily payout that we have. It's already adjusted the payout per T-share, or not the payout. It's already adjusted the amount it costs to get each T-share in terms of HEX and how much HEX it costs. So everything's already done for this particular wallet. I pull it up because I just wanted to share that with everyone to make sure that y'all are aware of what's going on, because it's crazy, folks. Yeah, 6 million isn't generational wealth. K-Crypto is like 1000% correct on this one. If you're looking for generational wealth, and you truly are looking for generational wealth, you're going to want to probably stay in the ecosystem a little bit longer. Because 6 million is definitely not generational wealth. Can you do great with 6 million? Yes. Will you be better off than you probably were in the past? Yes. And I'm not saying that won't be the case, but again, there's a difference between like shooting yourself in the foot, cutting off the fucking neck of the golden goose that's laying the golden eggs. There's a huge difference, because this person is getting out of the ecosystem. And when you're out, there is no like recovery. You don't just like, make it back up. So like in 5 years, if they turned 37 million and probably spent over 20 million during that time, they only end up with like 17 million at the end. And even then, that's if you're freaking lucky and smart. They probably end up doing something stupid, like putting it in other stuff that doesn't have a locking mechanic. Maybe they go try checking out a new crypto, the new shiny object syndrome. They put it in that object and then just get rugged. There's so many different things that are happening that like this one was so good to you. It was so nice to you. And yet you just want to cut off the neck of the golden goose. That's the way I see it, folks. And I just want to share that with everyone as well. I wonder if they minted their Hedron before ending the stake. I don't think they did. Let's go back to here. This was the wallet that they had, and this was 35 days ago. So they ended the stake on. I want to make sure I'm in the same wallet real fast. 6689A. Make sure we're still talking about the same wallet, because sometimes I pull up different wallets and look at different things. Yeah, 66898. Okay, cool. So same wallet here. Based on the fact that they don't have any Hedron in their wallet, if I'm not mistaken, typically means that they did not mint their Hedron. So wrecked because you probably could have had a fuck ton of hedron and they would have just sold the hedron and even had even more cash, right? It's literally given to you because you staked your hex. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, me, oh my. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is fucking wild. And yeah, you can see they don't have any hedron. I can go through and look at it all, but based on the fact that hedron isn't even in their wallet, I just don't see that being the case. They're just moving plenty of money around, doing plenty of things. Could be some sort of like trust scenario, or could be some sort of bigger firm, or could be something like that. I don't know exactly what's going on, but yeah, 139 days ago they staked this one here in HEX, 17 million, and we can look at that particular one. I think that one already ended, if I'm not mistaken. So this was the 17 million HEX stake that they staked for essentially 30 days. And then they ended up, even on that, they had 712 T-shares. They accrued 132,000 additional HEX. That's pretty freaking solid, man. A lot of folks would kill to have 132,000 HEX even right now. So, yeah, it's just a little bit of a weird thing. And then even at, 6 cents whenever this ended, that's still a pretty decent amount of money. Turning that amount in 30 days, I don't know. I think a lot of people would be happy. That's good passive income for a lot of folks. But they just, they cash it out. They just get out of the system. And then that's what I find to be so odd about it. They're just cashing out and they're getting out of the system. It's just crazy. They did not mint their hedron, to answer the question. There's a saying that goes, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, the present is your gift, enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. Yep, for sure. And like one of the things that I've even talked about here on my show before too is like maybe I had a hard time, I focus a lot on the future, right? I put a lot of emphasis on the future. I wasn't necessarily present in relationships and all that good stuff and my kids growing up and that kind of stuff when everything first happened because, I had this crazy grandiose vision of what I wanted, and I was just I would do whatever it took to get to that vision at the end. And then some people get stuck in the past, and I've got buddies in the military, and I got buddies who are just stuck in the past, and it's a shitty place to be. I myself was stuck in the past for a very long time, unfortunately, and I was able to get out and start seeing that there's a brighter, better future ahead. That the past is a mystery, or the past is behind us, right? And so it's one of those like it's a tough mentality to get around. And then I just had to realize that I need to focus, beware. I need to be present, right? You need to be present in the present. So it's a conversation to have for sure. Clifton says, or Alan Fizime says, 100% greed can get people wrecked. Just saying, don't push the price against yourself. HEX is gonna be around for a bit, and we are in a down market on its way up. Yeah, like that's what I've been trying to say. Like even like this whole situation of this particular wallet right now, just doing what it does, is a little bit crazy, just shocking to me. You know what I mean? Timing is time in and out, brother. That is what I was saying. There is a time for both. And holding is timing. I don't know. What? I mean, I guess, sure. I guess. I mean, that's why they say timing the market is better than their time in the market is better than timing. It's like what I'm trying to say. It's literally a phrase that's truly said. And it's, yeah, time in can be time in and out and timing those, but like that's kind of where you just end up going back to like you're making either emotional decisions or logical, rational decisions. And the way I'm focused on doing is by making logical, rational decisions based on my 5% profit taking strategy or 10% profit taking strategy or whatever it works for you. Most people wish they could have 1 million HEX. This guy has enough HEX to dump a bunch and still be good. Yeah, because you got it in super early, you know what I mean? And still be good in the future. But like the days where people were selling and dumping these amount of HEX, where it's 127 million, hundreds of millions of HEX, is so rare. I mean, I can pull up Deck Screener and show you the exact instance, but it's very, very rare that we're getting, because back in the day, billions of HEX used to be traded. You got to understand that. billions of HEX were traded because it was sub penny. It was easy to get a lot. You had something called Terra shares, which paid you stupid amount of HEX, and people still have some of those Terra shares as well. And then you end up getting into T shares, and then what's going to happen next is we're going to get into B shares and then M shares. And that's just how it all goes. And we're going to get through there in the future. So if you can manage to hold on to your T shares when we reach the ability where people only can grab B shares, well, then you're already above the pack in that regard, right? And then when you end up having B shares and we can only get M shares, you're going to be above the pack in that regard. So it's just a matter of like, the future's always moving, for sure. The future's always moving forward. But let me show you real fast what I was talking about in terms of the overall amount being traded. So if you go over here, you can literally type this in and just say 10 million HEX, okay? This is the easy way to look at it, but 10 million HEX a day, this is liquidity being added and removed, so I'm not going to count those. But there's a 13 million HEX sell here, which paid out roughly about $500,000 February 4th. Again, another one, 17,773, February 4th. There's only a few transactions every single day. And then look at this. The next one that doesn't even have more than 10 million HEX isn't until January 20th. And even then, it's just one transaction. Well, guess what? January 18th only had a handful of transactions as well. We had what? Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 transactions. Guys, like you have to understand, there used to be hundreds of transactions. All of these sellers and buyers of 400 buyers versus 200 sellers, like all those hundreds of buyers used to be doing this on a daily basis. The chart would look like nothing but 10 million HEX being moved all the time. Now you're fortunate just to have a million HEX. And even then, you can see how rarely these happen. January 18th, from there, the next one wasn't until January 17th. That's just adding liquidity. I'm not even going to count that. Then you had one more on January 16th, one more on January 12th, one more on January 11th. So if we just look at even the month of January, probably had, what, 30 transactions in total for January to February above 10 million HEX. I get it. Like, there's a situation where you're going to be blessed and fortunate that you have HEX. And if you end up having a million HEX in the future, congrats. If you end up having 100,000 HEX in the next 3 years, you're going to be in the same position where these trades of millions per HEX are going to be turning into the hundreds of thousands per HEX in these trades, because that's just how the market goes. That's that redistribution of wealth. It's how all of it works, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like to cut the neck off of the golden goose. Man, we've been on this topic fucking the whole stream. So I guess that's just what this topic is going to be today. I see this historical dumper by Noobness is showing. I see this as a historical dumper. My Noobness is showing. Brother, all apologies. All good. This is I'm sharing. This is why I'm sharing it with everyone, man. It's not just your Noobness, right? Like, I see your perspective too. Like, I get it. If you have a situation that happens, like someone in your family gets hit by a vehicle and the only thing they can do is have surgery in Germany by the best fucking doctor possible to have a chance of living, and it's going to cost you millions upon millions of dollars. Well, you know what, dude? Situation happens in life. Fuck it. Like, you know what? That's important to do. I get it. But to be a perpetual habitual dumper, that's what I have an issue with, where I'm just like, you don't see the whole macro of this world. You got something that turned into $15,000 into millions of dollars, and you don't want to reinvest some? That's where I even reinvest fucking 30,000, like double your initial investment and just see where it may take you in a few years. Like, that's where I have the issue that I want people to see, is that like you take advantage of the market for sure. Take your profit, do what you got to do, boo. But like, damn, dude, to not reinvest nothing and to just only cash out and be a habitual dumper, yeah, that kind of throws me off, man, for sure. No, it's good to challenge ATX when he is highly caffeinated. Oh shit! Oh shit! I know, yeah, dude. I realized I rant and rave. You know, I appreciate everyone who tuned in and watched it. ATX brother just listened to you at 2x speed. Why you all fired up? Yes, a whale dumped his investment of 15K to 6 mil. Well, he did well. What did he do? What he did wrong was he didn't sell at all-time high. It's not that he didn't sell at all-time high, Crypto Freedom. It's not even that. It's this person who's like fortunate, blessed, and lucky enough to have been in early enough and have gotten massive returns, and then to just cut the neck off like of your golden goose, like that's where I get a little bit worked up from. Go make your money, go have fun, but like just to cut your neck off, like man. So that's what I'm saying. Like whenever I see someone who used to have 50,000 t-shirts, 100,000 t-shirts, and now they only have like 400 t-shirts, I'm like, damn, dude, damn, that's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? And they're gonna have nothing but regret. And so there's such a thing called ROMO, right? Regret of missing out. And that's what happens when you end up in this situation, and then you see the HEX price pump. Like imagine we end up reaching back to all-time highs and we get back up to 6 cents or 60 cents. Well, at the current price of 6 cents, like it is right now, that's a 10x. So if you turn something of $6 million, what if you could turn that into $60 million? Just by waiting a few fucking months. Like that's where I have the issue, man. That's what I'm trying to say. You didn't have this money before. You were not a millionaire. When you first cashed out, you became a millionaire. Congrats. You are now a cash millionaire. I get that. But then to not reinvest any of it again, bro. Oh, man. I just don't see myself doing that, and I hope none of y'all would as well. But, you know, people are going to do it. I'm saying people dump PLSX for Pulse, and in that event, the AMM, there's an AMM bot that buys the PLSX, and others like me with limits that buy dips and hold them and single side stake them for more coins. Yeah, there's going to be a dump for sure. Crypto dumps, guys. We talk about it all the time. Crypto dips are in the game. 60, 70, 80, 90% dips, they're here. They're going to come around. No crypto is infallible from this metric of dips. Like, they're going to happen. And all it takes is clearly like a shark or a whale of someone who just wants to, you know, end out their position to just say dump it. Like a whale could tank the price right now if they wanted to. Right? Like a whale has a lot of power to do a lot of things. They can bump the price up a lot. They can also dump the price a lot, right? A whale is a different league. So it's just a matter of like, do you shoot the foot? Do you bite the hand that's feeding you? And for the most part, hopefully not. Maybe he's getting his dry powder to go into PHEX hard. 2 million into PHEX. He will be a huge whale. Hopefully. I mean, he's cashing out. It's not even dry powder at this point in time. He's cashing out. He's taking the money and actually going off into an exchange and actually turning it into like fiat. You know what I mean? There's a difference between like cash out, take profits, hold his dry powder, ready to deploy whenever the launch happens. Like say for example, hold it in DAI or whatever stable coin that you decide. Versus yeah, there's a big difference between like cashing out in that position and just saying like it is what it is, and then cashing out into the fiat world, because there won't be a bridge come the first few days. So if you are trying to make that play happen for PHEX when it first launches, to make sure that you can have as much dry cash as available, then maybe that's what he's still holding this HEX for in the wallet. We'll see. Richard is the patron saint of crypto. He absolutely is. Sudden wealth is a real issue. Look at all lottery ticket winners that are broke. I totally see your point. Mindset, mentality, and health is wealth, not money. Facts. Facts on facts. You care about making all of us better, and that's why I'm all in on ATX. Clifton, thank you so much. Yeah, I just want, whenever I see this kind of stuff happening, it's like, damn, I'm doing 5 stakes. Hey, appreciate that. Always good to see them longer stakes come through. What's good, Funkmaster Hex? Sadly, there will always be a new shark to dump on us. Yeah, and so like, let me actually pull up, for example, Staker app real quick, because I was trying, and I'm going to have it to where I can like just plug in my phone on this, and y'all can actually see the whole Staker app system as well. Because so far today, there have been, let me see what we actually currently have. See more. Nope, I don't want that. Yeah, it just shows, I'm trying to see like the positions that everyone's in right now using the Staker app, which is just freaking awesome. I love using Staker app for where you can see where everyone's at. So far today, there's been -1 Dabbing Dolphin, -1 Swifty Squid, and yeah, people are moving up. People are moving up the ranks. I saw a little message on on Twitter where someone said I entered the squid world, you know what I mean? And that's like freaking epic. We have a new God whale in HEX. That's huge. Hey. Why do people still blindly trust, put all their eggs in fiat? I don't get it. What are your thoughts on the crypto cypherpunk movement? And did you have something else to do? Yeah, I don't see it here. Maybe there's more to the question, but it just didn't say. But yeah, in terms of like the crypto movement, man, it's happening. It's real. It's not like the idea of gaining back self-sovereignty and just gaining back freedom, trying to get control of what's going to happen, because we've seen it before where, you know, if they end up launching CBDCs and they can just basically say where you can spend money, how much you can spend, that's garbage, right? It's kind of the same logic as like an EV vehicle. If you miss payments, for example, you can have it come back and it'll repo itself. So you'll just wake up one day and it'll just be gone when self-driving's a thing. And then they can also control cars, like whenever the lockdown happens. If everyone had an EV vehicle, they can just be like, send out a little signal and be like, jam all cars, no one can go anywhere, good luck. And then if you want to get somewhere, you're fucking driving on a bicycle, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, definitely a big fan of crypto. This is the highest appreciating asset, man. There's nothing else that's gonna beat it right now. Stop looking into people's wallet, bro. You're acting like an insecure girlfriend right now. Hey, well, great gains. I love it and I appreciate it, and I will continue to look into people's wallets. You can either come back and watch the channel, enjoy the content for what it is, take what you can learn and come up with your own investment theory, or you don't have to watch it, my friend. I can act however I want to act on my stream. So thank you. On catch up, appreciate that, Crypto 7. Crypto 7 has been a lively debate on Hex Dumper and cashing out of crypto. Thanks, Clifton. I'll watch it all. Yeah, exactly. Like, Grit Gains, if you don't want to be here, my friend, you don't have to be. There's nothing that's keeping you here. I ain't holding a gun to your head saying you got to watch my stream, and I don't think anyone else there is around you saying that. But if you enjoy the content that is being said and you love what I'm talking about and you're trying to learn and grow and earn, then yeah, come back, subscribe. You're going to learn quite a bit. And, you know, everyone's going to have a different take. And it's good to hear contrarian views from multiple topics. It's good to hear different ideas from multiple people so you can come up with your own investment thesis, is what I would say in that regard. But, you know, hopefully, like I said, I'm not making you stay. I don't force you to keep watching, and I can talk about whatever I want to talk about on my channel. Isn't that so interesting? Stop trying to delay my freedom of speech, buddy. I sacrificed for PulseChain, buddy. I got freedom of speech. I sacrificed for it, man. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. Anyways, there was a lot more to talk about today, folks, but that has been an absolute rant and rave that has gone on quite a lot longer than I ever anticipated. So it's been an absolute blast having every single one of y'all here. Catch you on tomorrow's stream where we're going to talk more about Richard Hart's website and a lot of other stuff as well. Peace.